climax. Rated R.
And welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. Today we are taking a look at the last two films of September 2014 for September 26, and of course the biggest of the two new releases is Denzel Washington in The Equalizer. He stars as a middle-aged retired intelligence officer who believes he has put his special force past behind him and dedicates himself to beginning a new quiet life. But when McCall meets Terry, played by Chloe Grace Moretz, a young girl under the control of violent Russian gangsters, he can't stand idly by. He has to help her. Armed with hidden skills that allow him to serve vengeance against anyone who would brutalize the helpless, McCall comes out of his self-imposed retirement and finds his desire for justice reawakened. If someone has a problem, if the odds are stacked against them, if there's nowhere else to turn, they call The Equalizer. This is, of course, based off the 1980s TV series starring Edward Woodward, and this is also Denzel Washington and director Antoine Fuqua working once again for the first time since Training Day. Which, that's the only thing I could say that's bad about the movie, is that you don't have a great over-the-top Alonzo Harris performance in this one, but nevertheless, this is still a pretty awesome movie. In fact, all the Equalizer movies really are a lot of fun overall. I mean, Washington is the solid hold of this film that just is part of what makes this such a fun movie in general. I mean, the movie just works as a solid action thriller with Washington proving once again his badassness. Even in crap like Safe House and Two Guns, he can always beat the crap out of anybody that comes his way, and the movie will definitely prove that. Yeah. He's given a terrific performance in this. I thought the performances overall were pretty solid here. The rest of the cast is really good too. I mean, Martin Sikorsky playing the bad guy in this, plays a great film villain. Chloe Grace Moretz is pretty good in here. Although I will admit she's only in about 20 to 25 minutes in it overall. I mean, at least she has more screen time than somebody like Bill Pullman or Melissa Leo, who show up for like 10 minutes even. And even though Pullman's been seeing much of the TV advertisement, he's barely in the movie. I also like the look of the movie, too. It has that great gritty tone, something like a Drive, sort of. Which is funny, because the director of the Drive, Nicholas Winding Refn, was originally supposed to direct this movie at one point during the production. And yes, the violence is very much rated R. It works really well, too. I mean, there's even some good bits of comedy there. There's a great bit where Washington and this crooked cop, who coincidentally is played by the bad guy from last week's movie, A Walk Among the Tombstones, goes into this drug and money ring, confronts the bad guys, beats the crap out of them, then ties them up, and then the scene ends with Washington giving the workers in there some of the money that the dealers were holding. And I have to say, that was generally very funny in general. The movie can be very predictable at times. You know, when somebody's about to get killed, you know what's likely going to be used as bait to lure the hero. You know when it's more than likely going to go. And yeah, it can be really annoying, but if it's done well, it can work overall. I mean, it's definitely better paced than last week's A Walk Among the Tombstones, even though I will say the pacing of the first half hour is a little slow for its own good. Yeah, I know they're trying to build Washington's character arc here, but you gotta do something a little bit better than that. But the movie is good for much of the rest of the film, but really becomes great when we get to the last action scene of the movie in this Home Depot-like store that Washington works in. The last 20 minutes are badass. This is the best moments of the entire movie. In fact, most of the climaxes in the Equalizer movies are the best overall. I mean, the one from Equalizer 2 is one of my favorite ones, and that reminded me so much of Patriot Games, but this is just so well done. Like, the action's very well done, Washington's being badass. I mean, there's parts where there's traps that literally feel like an R-rated Home Alone is about to kick in here. I mean, had the movie been paced better early on, I would have said this was one of the best films of the year, but it doesn't compare as well to A Walk Among the Tombstones, but at the same time, it's still a great movie overall. Washington once again commands the screen, proving that he can easily take on anyone that comes his way. The action is well done. The film has this great stylistic look to it. The ending action sequence is incredible. It just works, man. The Equalizer made the jump to the big screen in the best possible way. I mean, can't recommend this one enough. The Equalizer, man. The Equalizer, So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the second of our films here, and that is the latest film from the creators of Coraline and Paranorman, and that is The Box Trolls.
The Box Trolls, rated PG.
And really right there sums up a lot of the major problems with the movie in general. The Box Trolls are a community of quirky, mischievous characters who have lovingly raised an orphan human boy named Eggs in the amazing cavernous homes they built beneath the streets of the city called Cheesebridge. The story is about a young orphan boy raised by these underground cave-dwelling trash collectors who try to save his friends from an evil exterminator, the town's villain, Archibald Snatcher. When Snatcher comes up with a plan to get rid of the Box Trolls, Eggs decides to venture above ground and into the light. When he meets and teams up with fabulously feisty Winnie, together they devise a daring plan to save the Box Troll family, and this is based off of the children's novel called Here Be Monsters, played by Alan Snow. Which sounds like a name that you would hear for like a villain or something like that, or an action hero. Alan Snow, we need you, like that type of thing. But yeah, like I said, this is made by the same people who made Coraline and Paranorman, which are two excellent, excellent movies. And this definitely feels like Leica trying to be appealing more to the mainstream audience, like a Despicable Me in a way. Although these characters are certainly nowhere near as annoying as the Minions can be. But that doesn't mean the movie is terrible. It's still a good movie. It's just that Coraline and Paranorman had that edge to them that made them stand out more. And even their next movie, Kubo and the Two Strings, I think really gave this studio more of an edge than somebody like Pixar or even before Sony Pictures Animation got that edge. But, I mean, the thing that works with Coraline and Paranorman is that the edge of that film is that those films managed to not only be great kids movies, but they were able to go above and beyond for what we're used to seeing in modern day kids films. I mean, Paranorman literally has a main character who comes out as gay and is supposed to be the romantic love interest to Norman's sister, Anna Kendrick's character. Like, what other movie are you going to get that from? A studio like Pixar under Disney would probably be like, nope, can't have that in there. At least back then, at least. But I digress. But, like I said, the general story here is very typical, and honestly, there's more things you could see coming a mile away in this that you could tell. The name of the villain is obviously a giveaway as the villain. Like, he was literally born to become a villain with the name Archibald Snatcher. Like, what was he going to be if he wasn't a villain? Like, like a I don't know, chef or something like that? The father of the main character supposedly dies, but then comes back later in the film. There's a dad who doesn't want to listen to his child. There's a scene where the main character has to learn to fit in with normal people. There's a scene where the main character has to have a fight with one of the characters, and they have to go their separate ways for a bit. There's a scene where the box trolls are supposedly dead, but they come back in the end to save the day. There's many moments like that in this movie, and coming from a studio like Coraline and Paranorman that did things so differently and took you completely by surprise when they built up these twists and all that. I mean, the twist in Paranorman is something that still is etched in my memory. It's like, oh, that's good. That's a good twist right there. Yeah, this movie just goes down the predictable route, and yeah, it's a shame that it does that overall. That's probably my biggest complaint about the movie, is that it's a very predictable story. But with all that said, though, I mean, it's got a lot of good elements to it. I like the box trolls themselves. I think they are very likable characters. They can be very funny when they can be. The main character is very good. Eggs is a likable character, as is Winnie. I thought Snatcher was a pretty cynical and fun villain, and honestly, Ben Kingsley giving that great performance. I mean, that's probably one of the best performances I've seen from Ben Kingsley in a long, long time, man. I mean, it certainly is nowhere near the levels of something like a Love Guru or something like that, but that's good. We don't want that to be that way. His henchmen are a ton of fun to watch, too. The rest of the characters are okay at best. The story is about as generic as it gets. It has a straightforward 3-act structure, and it's easy to follow, and does lead to, I think, honestly, a pretty fun conclusion overall, especially with the way to defeat the villain. The animation is the best thing about it overall. I mean, not only do you have great stop-motion animation, but a mix of computer animation thrown in there with stop-motion flawlessly. I mean, Paranorman did a lot of those same things, and it's still amazing to watch those movies and realize that, yeah, this is clearly something where you cannot really predict what's what here. And yeah, and in a world now where AI is becoming the norm, I mean, I hope Leica doesn't go down that route with this, because yeah, this is the stuff that's been working, and if this is the reason why their latest film is taking so long to get done, then so be it. It'll turn out amazing. But like I said, I enjoyed the box trolls. I think it's fun for kids overall. Good animation, decent story, likable characters, a good heart to it. I'll always say that there's never been a really bad stop-motion film, except maybe Monkey Boat, but even then it was like a live-action hybrid overall. And the box trolls definitely doesn't change my mind on it overall. It's worth seeing on the big screen, but if you haven't seen it, you didn't see it on the big screen, it's worth watching at home. I think you'll like it as much as the other Leica films, but it'll definitely be the lesser of the films that you see from them. I think Coraline, Paranorman, Kubo, and even Missing Link, which is probably their second to worst film, is actually a lot better than this is. So take that for what you will. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the box trolls. And thus, with all that said, we wrap up another episode of Time About the Movies, and it's October time, folks. That you know what that means. Halloween and also award season, baby. We have one of the more anticipated movies of the year, David Fincher's adaptation of the best-selling novel Gone Girl, with Ben Affleck and Rosamund Pike among its cast. We have the Conjuring spin-off that everyone saw and was just like, wow, this is absolutely terrible. But hey, we're going to make it a hit so we can make sequels out of it. And surprisingly, the sequels ended up being a lot better than the original film did. But then again, this is directed by John R. Leonetti, who is basically the hack director that you bring in for a film like this. So no wonder why the first Annabelle was not the great movie that it was. But it did lead to good films afterwards with other directors. But we'll touch on that after we get done with this one here. But we also have one of the biggest movies of the year, easily, Nicolas Cage and Left Behind. Hello. And we also have... is Helen Mirren in this one? No, this is a completely different movie. Reese Witherspoon in The Good Lie, and I'm thinking of the Ian McKellen Helen Mirren movie that I thought was also called The Good Lie. I think it's called The Good Life, actually. I was close. The Good Liar is what it was called. So just a couple of letters off, but we're not going to look at that movie yet. We still got about 5 years to go with that one. We're going to take a look at the Reese Witherspoon movie called The Good Lie, and I thought I had something else here. Let me see. Oh. Jason Reitman's latest film, Men, Women, and Children, with Adam Sandler and Jennifer Garner among the cast. Not one of his more well-known movies, but at least it was better than I was about to say Drafty, but that's his father. It's better than Labor Day was, but we'll touch on that on the next episode. So I think about 5 movies we'll take a look at next time around. So with all that said, though, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors. Hitting that like button and the subscribe button and the notification button will do wonders for this channel. But also, you can go ahead and hit that playlist and check out the previous episode we did. So with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.